Media player on our website's front page, where local artists can get their music played 24/7. For more information on getting your music in rotation or to perform live at our studio, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Android users, the VoxWave app is now available in the Google Play Store. Download the app today on your Android device to listen in and view programs.
Business owners looking for a place to advertise your business and promote your products and services? VoxWave is the right place. We have over 10,000 views a day and 70,000 listeners a month. For more information, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
The world's #1 streaming music station, VoxWave.com.
We have your favorite shows on VoxWave.com. Check out our lineup. The Kim Show, Mondays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. In the End We Win with Curtis, Mondays, 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. Cooking with Flavors with your host, Chef Flavors, Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Slick Daddy Rick, Heartbeat Congo Hour, Tuesday, 8 to 10 p.m. Impact the World Radio TV Show with Cheryl Woods, Wednesday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. The Digital Digest with your host, Digital Ace, Wednesdays, 3 to 5 p.m. Live Set Wednesdays with your host, Frank Dent, Wednesdays, 8 to 9 p.m. The BGKH Show with your hosts, Dominion and Epic, Wednesdays, 9:15 to 10:15 p.m. You, Math, and Me with George Randall, Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Then, on Thursdays at 5:30 p.m., The Prayer, Praise, and Deliverance with Elder Thurman Gorman Jr., The 640 Evening Show, Thursdays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The Peace in the Morning Show with your host, Darius A. Stanley, co-host, Delicate Daryl Barnes, and Queen Ayakidobi, Fridays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Hall Street Journal with your host, Robert Hall, and co-host, Clarence Sanders, Fridays, 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Frank, The Success Principles, Friday, 12 noon to 1 p.m. Chanel's 3 Cents, Friday, 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. The Daryl Allen Harrison II Crime Victims Foundation Show, hosted by Daryl Harrison II, every Friday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. The Rush Hour with DJ Drew and Janique, every Friday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Different Minds Show, hosted by DJ Bam 640 and DJ Andre Michael, and your co-host, MC Fran, every Friday, 9:15 p.m. to 11:15 p.m. The Healer Blues Show will host Ron Jackson, every Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Hour of Power with your host, Reverend Winters Rogers, every Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And again, the Prayer, Praise, and Deliverance with Elder Thurman Gorman Jr., Saturday, 11 p.m. to 12 p.m. And don't forget Four Sisters Live Talk, Saturday at 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Turning dreams into reality talk show with your host, Tashika L. Green, every second Saturday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Walk in Newness 24/7 with Missionary Antoinette, Saturdays, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. News, ULM, news and analysis, information, sports, and black history with your news anchor, Roderick Carter Willis, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Step your game up with the Youth Project, hosted by DJ Main and DJ Low Hefe, Saturday, 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And don't miss The To Go Show with Kim Brown, Saturdays 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. I Am Dr. Sharon Show, each Sunday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., featuring The Grind, Entrepreneur Network Spotlight, and Write the Book Now. The Riri Williams Show, Fashion and Style Hour, every first Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. Real Talk 101, Sundays 6 to 8 p.m. And every third Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m., the Third Sunday Tea Talk Show with Dr. Akita Pearson. Gospel Live TV Show with host Gloria Mello, each Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. Listen to all your favorite shows on VoxWave.com.
VoxWave.com. VoxWave.com, streaming your favorite jazz, blues, and R&B 24/7.
Good morning, and welcome to You, Math, and Me. I'm George Randall, and today we're going to talk about proportions. And some of the ways that we convey proportions, it says 5 to 25, which equals 5 to 25, which equals 5 divided by 25, which equals 1/5. So in essence, we're talking about fractions. Okay, now, the way that we can do some comparisons is we look at what we call the extremes. In other words, this says 8 to 12, which equals 2 to 3. Now, how do we know that our proportions are equal or writing an equivalent fraction? This is what we do. A proportion is the product of the extremes, 8 times 3, which is 24, and the product of the means, 12 times 2, which is 24. So, when we have something like that, and if you look closely at this particular fraction, we have 5 to 25 equals 1 to 5. Okay. The extremes, 5 times 5 is 25. Equals the means. 25 times 1 is 25. So whenever you're asked to find an equal proportion, you can look at again 8 over 12 equals, sometimes you'll get a variable, over 3. Again, 8 times 3 is 24, and we have 12a, or 12 times a is 12a. And what do we end up having there? A one-step equation. How do we undo multiplication? Divide by 12 in this case, and whatever you do to one side, do to the other. Over here, 12a divided by 12 is a, and 24 divided by 12 is 2. And so here, we put 2. And we've written an equivalent proportion. We've written an equivalent fraction. We've solved the problem. And look real quick. Means, or extremes, 8 times 3 is what? 24. Means 12 times 2 equals 24. We've handed in it correct. Proportions. And we can do this for a lot of cases. We have 5/7 equals so many 35ths. we can do one or two things. We can say what number multiplied by 7 equals 35? 5. Whatever we do to this denominator, we must do to the numerator. 5 times 5 is 25. We've written an equivalent fraction, or we've written, an equivalent ratio or we've written an equivalent proportion. So 5 is the 7 as 25 is the 35. Let's look at another. 35 over 14 equals something over 2. Now again, 14 times b equals 2 times 35, and I know that's 70, right? So, and watch this. Now we got a one-step equation. We're going to divide. And guess what that equals? 5. B equals 5. So, and we can check real quick. What do we multiply 2 by to get 14? 7. Up here, 7. 5 times 7 equals 35. So again, we've got 35 is to 14, which equals 5 to 2. Oops, I wrote division sign. Or again, an equivalent fraction because your teacher's going to ask you again, proportions, write an equivalent fraction, and so on. All righty. Remember, if you need any assistance in reference to solving proportions or writing a ratio, you can contact me at gerandall22@gmail.com. And when we come back, we're going to be looking at some practical applications that a chef may use, a cook may use, you may use, so that we can in turn, let's say for the chef, rather than cook for 2, you may cook for 20. And you have to have the right proportions. So I thank you, and I'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to You, Math, and Me. And I'm George Randall. Now we're going to talk about some practical applications for the use of proportions. And it reads thus. A nut mixture is made up of 3 pounds of cashews and 5 pounds of peanuts. How many pounds of each are needed to make 40 pounds of a mixture? Okay. Again, says the cashews 3 pounds and peanuts 8 pounds. And we want to know how much we'll need for peanuts, and we also want to know how much for cashews. So we have a ratio. The initial ratio says 3 pounds of cashews, 8 pounds of peanuts. Now we want to find out for 40. So look at this. We could do 3 times 40, which is 120, and have a particular problem where we would then divide. So we go to 120, right? And we have 8A, and we divide by 8, and you'd be left with A, and then 8 goes into 120 once, 4 left over, 15 pounds. So up here, our equivalent ratio would be 15. Or we could have done what number multiplied by 8 will give you 40, and that's 5. And whatever we do to the denominator, we must do to the numerator. And that equals 15. That was much easier. So I'd prefer to go that route. So in this case, we'd need 15 pounds of cashews. Okay? And peanuts, same thing. Look, what number multiplied by 8 will give us 40? We already said it was 5. Whatever we do to the numerator, we must do to the denominator. And the answer is we need 25 pounds of peanuts to make a 40-pound mixture. Okay? What does this allow us to do? Our serving. We may only be serving for 2 people, but this, when a chef or a cook or whatever the case is going to cater a project, he or she can then figure out how many more of an item, in this case cashews and peanuts, to need to take care of a group of 20. Here's another career where you need mathematics. Okay, that's one application. Now I'm going to take this and we're going to look at travel. Today we use the GPS. We used to use maps. And again, we might have something that goes like this. For every 2 gallons of gas, we're going to travel 60 miles. Okay? And the question may be, how far can we travel with 20 gallons of gas? Look at this. Here's our initial ratio, over 60. And now we're going to go to 20 gallons. So really, first thing we got to do is this. Is divide by 2, right? And find out how many miles we can go for a gallon. So if we divide by 2, we'll get 10 gallons of gas. And then we divide here, we go 30. For every 1 gallon, we go 10 miles. And that's an equivalent equation. Make sure I did that right. We divide by 2, we divide top and bottom, 30 miles. We've divided by 2, everything. So for 1 gallon of gas, we go 30 miles, and I asked how many for 20. So what do? We multiply this times 20. So we got 20 gallons. And we multiply this times 20, and we get 600 miles. And all of these ratios or fractions should be equivalent. You multiply this times 2, this times 2 to get 60. You multiply this times 10 to get 20, and this times 10 to get 600 miles. Oops. Still got some reflexes. So we've written 3 different equivalent fractions. So we'll clean this up a little bit. 30 miles on 1 gallon, and we multiply top and bottom, numerator, denominator by 2, and for 2 gallons we'll get 60 miles. Over here we multiplied this 10, or 2 gallons by 10, and got 20 gallons of gas. And for every 20 gallons of gas, we can go 600 miles. So our GPS would tell us that for X amount of gallons of gas, we can go so many miles. Okay? Again, that's a practical application and the use of what? Ratios, which are fractions, which are proportions. This allows us to project out, if we buy X amount of gallons of gas in this case, we will in turn travel so far. Okay? Now, I've covered today a number of things related to not only some real life issues. When we're catering, we can sit down and perform an estimate of how much something's going to cost us, how much we need in order to prepare for our catering business. We've done some estimates for travel and so on. So today, again, if you need me, you can reach me at gerandall22@gmail.com. And that's going to close it out for today. And until next time, thank you for watching You, Math, and Me. Take care.